Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Yes We Can podcast. Today I have on Angie Hess. She's the general manager of Spas and More here in St. Louis. She is also the primary sponsor of the Yes We Can podcast, so thank you, Angie, so much. She has quite a story, a personal story to tell, and then we're going to talk about some health and wellness stuff and what Spas and More has to offer. So, super excited to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me on, Kira. I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, of course. So let's start with your journey, your story, who Angie is, how you've come to this point in your life, and just share with the audience kind of where it all started.
So, I actually came to work for Spas and More, which is my dad's company, in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It was after going through a divorce, 15-year marriage, a lot of issues. My kids needed some change in their life. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely needed some change. We were in Indiana. So, when the opportunity presented itself, we made the decision to come over, and then we've been here ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually born in Indiana, but both of my parents are from St. Louis area, so they were born and raised here, and just for some reason they decided to go have me in Indiana. But oh well.
Okay. Okay.
And then I've lived my life between here and Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I went to um, Brennan Woods Elementary until third grade until my parents divorced, and then I was up in the Melville School District at Beerbaum, and then was at the Rittner School District when my mom remarried, and before I ended up migrating back to Indiana to graduate high school, and then did the college thing and met the man and had the kids and all the crazy. So,
Mm-hmm. So you met your husband in college.
yes, he wasn't actually in college with me. I met him through a friend.
Okay.
And it was kind of what I thought was a soulmate, love at first sight. Didn't find
Yeah.
out until about 17 years later that it was kind of all of a farce, which would make sense as to why things weren't that great in the marriage. But,
Yeah.
I got two wonderful kids out of it. So it is, and, you're always going to go on a path for a reason, is what I said. So
Yes.
whatever those things that come into and out of your life, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
You,
Lessons learned.
yep,
For sure.
you learn from them, you grow from them, you make changes, um, and then you let it guide you. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got out of that
yes.
after 15 years.
Yeah, we were together a total of 17. We were married for 15. Um, we went through a lot of turmoil. My ex husband had lost both of his parents very suddenly within about 3.5 years of each other. His dad was very sudden. His mom battled cancer. We went through, that sort of thing, and it changed him for the worse. So it didn't make things that much better.
Yeah.
But then we also have things, he was more of a narcissistic person, which you don't see those things when you're living it. But
No,
you
you
can,
don't.
but then when you find
Right.
out after therapy and talking about it and learning, then you see those things and you see the red flags that you didn't see back then, because it's not talked about. And so when you are in a marriage, you don't talk about those things like the
No.
difficulties you have, and especially when you have um, like your family, your older family members who are just like, well, you just kind of put up with it, you just live through it and move on because that's what's expected of a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what they
then
did back in the day. It's a little different now.
it is very much so. But when you grow up, as far as like being born in the 70s, like I was, since I'm 50, we were still raised with that somewhat of that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I did come from a divorced family, it wasn't something that I really wanted my kids to go through. So I was
Mm-hmm.
wanting to, make the things work.
I
Um,
get it.
didn't necessarily happen the way it should have. My ex husband ended up cheating on me. We had a lot of emotional and mental abuse. Not saying that I was absolutely perfect, because it takes two people to break up a marriage. And you can't always sit there and blame the person who's having the affair as being the second, or the person that they're having an affair with as being that second person to break it up,
Mm-hmm.
because there's something that's gone on between the two of you to lead that person to that path first. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at fault. I just know that I had to work on my things that, um, that were my issues. And so I started identifying those and working on those myself. But then in that, I also realized the things that I allowed to or that I accepted that I shouldn't have.
Yeah, and you hear that a lot. I've got a
Hmm.
good friend going through something similar, and it's really difficult. That's a common story that you hear,
Hmm.
at least as I age and talk to more people and more divorces are happening. Um, it is easy to look over red flags and just grin and bear it for the kids and for the marriage
It is.
until it gets to a point where it can no longer be ignored.
Right. And it's a very taboo thing. It's not like you can go to lunch with your friends and talk about, your husband assaulting you or these things just like, everyday talk.
Nonchalantly, right?
Right. It's when you reach that point that you get to a point where you stop being willing to put up with it. That's when you can decide, okay, I am done. And I reached that point, when my ex-husband's affair came to light and everything. I finally decided, okay, I am the one who is ending this. I am not going to keep myself subjected to everything.
Right.
My kids needed something better.
Absolutely.
And I didn't realize until after it was said and done how much it affected their lives and their mental health, not just mine.
Of course. And I know, I think that's something to think about, because I think about with my situation, like I didn't expect my husband, to die.
Mm-hmm.
We have our life. You marry somebody and plan to spend the rest of your life with them. You have
Right.
children with them, and then something tragic happens. And I think about even like moving forward, like if I were to be with somebody else, I'm like, what type of relationship or marriage do I want my kids to see? Because what they see is going to be the blueprint for in their minds
Very
for
much
what
so.
relationships should look like, how the father treats
Mm-hmm.
the mother, how the mother treats the father. I mean, of course they can see, it's not perfect. Not everybody's perfect. Um, but it's something I think about and I think again, when you're in it, you don't always see it and you
No,
ignore it. And you
you do.
ignore it.
Or you get told to ignore it.
Correct. And then all of a sudden it blows up.
Yes.
So I think that's a very common story with a lot of people. So how did you get through that, mentally? How did it affect your health, and, mental health?
So that was after that happened that my health conditions really started that I had underlying that I was just chalking up to working, 60 hours a week and raising two kids and constantly being on the go.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up in after we separated in 2011, I just got hit. It felt like I was run over by a Mack truck. And by 2012, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, mixed connective tissue disorder, which my markers for that is systemic lupus, psoriatic arthritis, and ulcerative colitis. So I don't have enough of one of those to say that, yes, you have full blown lupus or you have full blown this or that. I have markers for each one. So I could have something like a butterfly rash that might show up one day, which is like a lupus flare.
Mm-hmm.
But then my stomach could be turning, doing this thing, having the cramping and, very bad diarrhea, things like that. All of those things because I can get bits and pieces of everything.
Oh, lucky you.
I know it's always fun because it's a new day every day.
Yeah.
But all of that hit, and
This was after the divorce.
this is after the divorce, after the separation, when we were going through the divorce process. And it's like, and at that point in time, I had wrecked my career. So I was down to a $10 an hour job building semi trailers after being a store manager in a retail store. And like I said, I had wrecked my career when all of this started falling apart. So when all of that, all of the pain, all of the health issues started rising, it would have been really easy for me to stay in bed.
Yeah.
It would have been really easy for me to try the whole let's get disability. I'm not doing anything.
Was it depression, anxiety?
It was depression. It was the pain. I mean, just the fact
Yeah.
that my entire body hurt. Um, I tried all different medications. I had but the different medications the doctor put me on, I had one that made me sleep all day long, and like I
That
lost a
won't do.
job because I couldn't wake up. Um,
Okay, so not
and
that.
not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I reached a point where I looked at my daughter and my son, and they would have went anywhere and been with me through anything.
Mm-hmm.
We got evicted from our apartment, and I felt like a total failure. And my
Mm-hmm.
daughter said something to me. It's like, "Mom, we live under a bridge with you," you know.
How old were
Um,
they at this point?
so they were middle school,
Oh.
sixth grade, eighth grade,
Mm.
getting ready to. My daughter was getting ready to go into high school.
Mm-hmm.
We had just started. We found a church home. My kids had never been in church up to this.
Mm-hmm.
I had been raised Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
but we had found a church home, and we were trying to make improvements in life, and that. But knowing that I had to live and be for them kind of brought me out of the fog that I was in for that, and I had to make a decision. And every single day, to this day, I make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I get up in the morning, is how is my day going to be? Because I'm going to put my best foot forward, and that's how it has to be. But I have to be able to move through the pain and do what I need to do. And you reach that crossroads where it's you either let the pain control you and then you go down that dark path, or you step up and you control it and move your life forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to move my life forward because I had two kids that depended on me.
Right. It is, I know. But sometimes when you're in that deep depression, it doesn't feel like you have a choice, right? And
Right.
so, and a lot of people can identify with that. I mean, I can identify with that. Like, I went through horrible depression last
Mm-hmm.
year. Um, I have a couple questions. So, was your ex-husband helping at all? Were you getting child support? Did the kids see their dad? Like, what was?
So he was out of work for well over a year, because the person that he was involved with was actually a subordinate. So he lost his job because of it.
Mm,
My kids chose not to see him
mm,
because the first time or two they had their visitation, after we separated, he included her, and my kids did not like her, and they just wanted to be with their dad. It was a time that they needed, so they made the choice to not see him. Um, so for the longest time, there was not child support coming in. There was not any type of any help other than what I could work. I did have to go on food stamps for a while. We did have to go on Medicaid. I got kicked out of a second apartment because I couldn't pay for it. Ended up moving into a friend's basement
oh, Angie.
for a while.
Yeah.
Relied on our church heavily back then.
Yeah.
Once he did get a job, I was getting child support.
Okay.
But it was very minimal. It's like I was getting like $70 a week for two kids.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then he ended up having a child with the other woman and everything like that. So,
Oh.
yeah, but
Okay.
it's one of those things. And I moved to the point where I had to be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter wanted to have a relationship with her, half sister,
Yeah.
stepsister.
Right.
And so I had to make the judgment call, and I kind of laid it on the line for my ex-husband and his new wife,
Mm-hmm.
which was the woman he cheated on me with, that we have to get along because he's going to be in my kid's life if he wants to be, but my daughter wants to be part of,
Yeah.
her sister's life. So in order to do that, the three of us have to coexist.
Yes.
And that's just how it was.
Yeah.
So
That's hard. That's
it
really
is.
hard. So he was in Indiana still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's travel back and forth. Are
Yeah.
you flying or driving?
Driving.
Okay. How long's that drive?
It's about 3.5 hours.
Okay. That's not bad.
No.
Now, do you want to talk? Are you willing to open up and talk about what happened to your career?
Mama, yeah, it's not a secret. Well, I mean, I don't consider it a secret. We were in a bad place financially, and I took advantage of being a store manager and took money out of the safe. Got caught.
Yeah.
And so when all of this happened, Um, I've luckily had a judge that was very lenient, and I had explained the circumstances, what we were going through, the fact that we were done now being getting divorced and
Mhm.
everything like that, and I had taken enough money for it to be a Class C felony,
Mhm.
and then he decided to, I think it was Class C, yeah, I'm trying to remember, but he's like, well, we're going to make this a misdemeanor, and as long as you pay back the money within 60 days,
Mhm.
and then we're going to put you on a unsupervised probation. Just don't mess up for the next year, and then it'll stay a misdemeanor, and then in 5 years it'll fall off your record.
Mhm.
So that's what happened. I was really fortunate because I had
Yeah.
to rebuild my life.
Right. Well, and you were desperate. I just think about you're desperate.
It was.
I mean, desperation.
Hmm.
You're a great person, an amazing person, and I just can't imagine being in that position where you're in the middle of a divorce, money financially unstable, have two kids. I mean, you just yeah. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
And it was a choice that I made, and it's a choice that I have to live with, that I
Mhm.
did that.
Mhm.
But um, in a way, it makes me more understanding and sympathetic to those situations.
Mhm.
So now that with the life that we are in now, I am so apt to help open up and help,
Mhm.
give where I can, support others who are in those crises of,
Yeah.
in a bad relationship, or who are struggling financially. Anything that I can do, because it's, you want to make sure that when you're a Christian, that you're actually, taking care of God's people with it.
Yes.
So I help out whenever I possibly can, if I know of somebody, even because I just want to make sure that nobody knows what I know, as far as, not having heat, not having food, not having
Right.
money for gas to try to find a job, having to rely on the kindness of strangers.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So you've been in their
mm,
shoes. Because I always talk about in the show, you know, it's so easy to judge people if you've never been in their shoes.
mm-hmm,
It's so easy to look from the outside and, you know, yeah, pass judgment and make assumptions that you never know until you've been in their shoes.
right.
So that's amazing that you've come out of that. So I'd like you to talk about how did you come out of that after all that? Like what have you done to get out of that rut? Or you hit rock bottom essentially.
And the biggest part was, the first step was, leaving Indiana, coming to St. Louis,
Mhm.
and working with my dad.
Mhm.
Um, I got in, and like I said, we started in 2014, and the business was slowly building. And we do, we sell hot tubs, swim spas, cold plunges, saunas, master spa products that are built here in America. And it's been a brand that my dad's been with since 1996. He needed the extra help as we were growing.
Mhm.
And then we've just kind of taken flight, especially when COVID hit and hot
Mhm.
tub sales went
Through the roof.
through the roof. And our business has grown, is almost, tripled, or quadrupled since then.
Awesome.
We opened our second store in Overland Park in 2021, that my daughter is now the store manager of.
Amazing.
Um, and so, but I mean, that was the first thing. That was the first thing, was getting that financial foothold, having the money to be able, and then being able to start like selling. And like, I had never earned a commission before. So it's like I was getting paid hourly and earning commissions.
Mhm.
And then one thing I learned about sales is, if you have a goal in mind, you can make your money, because it's just how hard you work that path. So you're not just relying on punching a clock.
Right.
So it's how hard you hustle and how much you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Well, since 2017, when my dad got injured, and then, as his health progressed, got progressively worse over the last several years, I've stepped more into that running the business
Mhm.
role.
Mhm.
So that's been a big thing, and that's, trying to help Spas and More continue to grow.
Mhm.
So been a challenge, but it's been fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, to work in a family business, and your
Mhm.
daughter's there, and setting goals and achieving them. I mean, I was in sales for 10 years as well, and you're right. You gotta hustle.
Mhm.
It's for a hustler. You can't,
Yeah.
you know, sales is not for the weak.
No, it's not. But then I also had to, I had to go to counseling. I had to,
Mm-hmm.
I started back going to counseling again because when I reached a certain point and didn't have to be the single mom anymore, and it's like, okay, well, it's been 16 years now, so maybe I can like have a date to do something. And my daughter is 27, my son is 24, they
Mm-hmm.
don't need me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like trying to venture into the world of online dating when you're like 50 is it's I there was and it seemed like every person popped up that red flag that it's like that I
Yes.
saw before, and I'm like, oh, no, no, no. And then I'm like sitting here going, okay, is this a me thing? Is this maybe
No.
not a them thing? Maybe this is a me thing, because like I said, I know that in my marriage I wasn't the best either.
Right.
So now I need to identify those things on me. So I
Yeah.
went back to a counselor, because it's like it's self-improvement continually has to happen if you want
Mm-hmm.
to have that marriage like my mom and my stepdad, who
Mm.
were together for 33 years, and my mom died just about 4 days before their 30th wedding anniversary.
I'm
But that's
sorry.
the kind of marriage that I wanted my kids to know and see, not
Yes.
my marriage, which was almost identical, which was very similar to my mom and my dad's marriage, you
Unfortunately,
know.
that happens. A lot of people fall into that pattern. Again, it's the blueprint.
Right.
It's what's in the back of your mind. It's a
Yeah.
tape that's playing. That's what my therapist always
Mhm.
says. Um, yeah. So yeah, back in our day, we didn't have online dating.
Right.
So it's a whole new world now.
It
It's like,
is.
as technology has advanced, it's what all the youngins are doing it too.
And it's scary.
It's scary because you could be anybody on those things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could be talking to somebody and it's a great picture, and, it could be some, you know, I don't even want to, like, 80-year-old person down in, Georgia that says that they're this, 40-year-old
Uh-huh.
man, two towns over. So you just don't know.
I know. It's a joke. We could go on and on about that. Um, so you're back in counseling.
Yes.
How's your mental health been since you've grown with the company? You're more established. Are you in a better place?
I am. Last year too, I decided to hire a life coach because I was sitting at almost 400 pounds and needed to get all of that under control as
Mm-hmm.
well. Being a type 2 diabetic on top of my health conditions, that
Mm-hmm.
my health conditions were exacerbated by the excess weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I hired a life coach who started helping me with nutrition
Mm-hmm.
and weight loss and exercise. But then the whole thing too, part of that we did and discussed and made that I never had before, was learning to set boundaries.
I'm also new to boundaries.
So when you're in setting boundaries, I mean, it's just challenging. It's really hard.
If you've never done it before, it's a foreign concept.
It is. And unfortunately, the person that I had to set the biggest boundaries with, and it's the hardest thing, is my dad. Especially as he's withdrawn more from the business and having more health issues, because I was running myself ragged and my mental health was taking a big hit, and I was trying to work my job and then do the amount of shows that we're doing and also try to take care of him, and still had my kids at home and everything. And it was one of those things that once I started putting those boundaries and actually holding them, that kind of gave me some clarity. But I will have to say that I fall back to my life coach even now after, we went through all last year, and I'm not with her as a client anymore, but we're still friends, and she is like my backbone.
Yeah.
When I still feel like there's something that I need to like figure this out, then she's, kind of a voice of reason to kind of help guide that way.
Right.
But also like returning to church here in St. Louis and finding a church home that I actually liked that was closer to what I had in Indiana
Mm-hmm.
has been a godsend
Game
too,
changer.
as far as just giving me the peace and the calm that I need.
Yeah.
And then I decided with 2026 that I needed the peace, I needed the calm, but I needed structure.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I couldn't, because I could not keep running in chaos.
No.
So that's been the whole reason of going back into counseling, to going and learning and setting these boundaries.
Yep.
And it makes it so that I can actually go home at night and have peace and sleep
What a difference.
and not have my brain constantly running.
I know. Again, very familiar story, and a lot of people are in those shoes. So what are you doing health wise now? Like, what are you doing to continue your health journey?
I mean, it's focusing on the food and the eating. It's the one of the big things that was always is it was never about the scale as far as watching the pounds come off. It was about what you're putting in your mouth. How much protein you're taking, how much your carbs, your healthy fats. Trying to stay away from the things that aren't good, like the extra sugars. Like I haven't drank diet soda in like 3 years now.
Good job.
I do mostly just water.
Amazing.
Tea here and there. Trying to stay away from like fast food, because I went through a very long period after my mom died in 2019 where basically I shut down. I went to work and I came home and that was it. I stayed in my bedroom. We door dashed everything. This is right also when COVID hit. My apartment with the 2 kids. My 2 kids were having their own battles with depression, but I didn't even recognize it. The apartment turned into just a trash heap of hoarded, piled mess. We had animals that couldn't go outside because we were landlocked. It was just, and we lived like that for a lot of years. I never imagined that losing my mom was going to put that much on me.
Yeah. And if you mind sharing how you lost your mom, I mean, it's...
So, I mentioned earlier that that I lost both of my in-laws. My mother-in-law had passed away from cancer. Hers was a very aggressive lung cancer. That was a tumor that was wrapped around her aorta and her upper lung quadrant. She was in a partial remission, ended up getting a sinus infection and coughed and ruptured her aorta because her aortic walls were weakened by radiation and she bled out. That always stuck in my mind and note because I was like the second person on the scene to see everything.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I didn't want to ever see a person live through those sort of things like that again. However, my mom had cancer. She was 7 years cancer free, and in 2018 it resurfaced in a PET scan. She had uterine cancer and had to have a hysterectomy way back then. It's like it said 7 years, so it would have been 2010, 2011 when that occurred. And then the cancer resurfaced in her lungs. So she ended up starting, chemotherapy and everything, bound and determined to make sure she made it to my son's high school graduation in 2019, which she did. She ended up having the spots in her lungs went away. Things were fairly clear. They did have a few hot spots down in her stomach that the doctor said, let's get you back from chemo and healthier before we start, trying to go after those, because it was a hot spot, but it wasn't anything significant. And then in September of 2019, she had a stroke. And that's where they found the 2 big tumors that were in her brain. One of them was big enough, pushing on the back left side, that caused the stroke. So they did full head radiation to try to help that. But it really didn't do anything other than cause her to slowly deteriorate. And then about the Thursday before Thanksgiving, she went into the hospital unresponsive and was kind of in a pseudo coma until she passed the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
I'm so sorry.
So
Was it the uterine cancer that
It was the uterine
spread?
cancer that was actually spread and was dormant, and it had metastasized, but it was dormant enough that a PET scan wasn't picking up on it throughout those 7 years, and it ended up in her
Oh
lungs.
my goodness.
And then eventually they said they found it. Like I said, the tumor in her brain just appeared from her PET scan that she had in like July, where they found it in the stomach, and they were just giving her time to recover. And then by September is when she had the stroke.
And were you her primary caregiver? Were you?
I was not. She was at home, my stepdad. My
Okay.
sister was still living at home at that time as
Okay,
well.
okay.
So they were her primary.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, as much as I wanted to be around, and they didn't call on me a whole lot because they knew that I was running a business and had
Yeah.
my dad to take care of as
Right.
well. So they didn't want to push on me as much
Mhm.
as, even though I told them I would be there.
Drop
So,
anything and go. Of course.
yeah. And I mean, I was there when I needed to be for sure.
Yeah. I'm so sorry you had to go
Yeah.
through that.
So, but
It's just life is. It's wild,
it is.
and you just never know what's coming around the corner.
No, you don't. And then even this last year, my stepdad had had found cancer in his neck and had to go through some treatment, but he is currently cancer free. So,
Oh, awesome.
and he is 80 years old.
Mm.
So we're, you know, it's not another thing that my sister and I wanted to go through.
No, dear Lord.
Especially after losing mom.
Yeah. And so how did that affect you? I mean, you lose your mom. I mean, I lost my mom in 2013, so I, can relate. She didn't die of cancer, but she died of, some heart stuff. But so I know what it's like to not have a mom through tough times.
I think the worst part about losing my mom was the time that I lost with her before that.
Mm.
So when she married my stepdad when I was in 8th grade, I moved with him, and we moved up to the Rittner School District, and I was up there until my sophomore year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
He and I didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things because he was very old school but had never had children. So he had his thoughts and things. I didn't care for those thoughts. And then when my mom was expecting my sister, I'm like, you guys, there need to be space. At that point in time, it was always, when you have the divorced parents, you have the fun parent, and then the parent who has to be the strict parent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I decided that I wanted to go be with the fun parent.
The fun parent, yep, the good
So,
cop.
I chose to go live with my dad. I'm sure that I broke my mom's heart, but she understood. She, let me go, and that was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, met and married my ex-husband, and I probably should have recognized there was an issue early on when anytime we would go to visit my parents or my parents would come visit, it would cause a fight. And it just turned into where I didn't bother to visit my mom, and I didn't have them come visit because I didn't want to keep having the fights with him over it all. So my kids missed a lot of years of seeing their grandparents. That also meant that I missed a whole lot of years of my sister growing up because she's 16 years younger than me. So I wasn't there for her high school graduation and things because it was just easier to say I had to work instead of trying to explain the fighting or going there and being in a fight and making, the lives miserable. So when
that is the key sign of a narcissist, by the way.
Right.
If your husband or partner fights you on seeing your family, it's a red flag, people.
Yes, and if they insist on every holiday, you have to go stay with their family and you can't do anything. Yes, it is a huge red flag.
I mean, it's one thing.
I know that now.
Well, of course. It's one thing if your husband doesn't, like your family or, has opinions. It's one thing for him to, stay back and just let you go with your kids. But it's another thing to prevent you from seeing your parents.
Right.
And prevent that relationship from happening.
Right.
Because, causing turmoil at home, that's not healthy. But agreed. When you're in the situation, you don't see it.
Right.
Or you can't see it. Or you ignore it. And you're like, maybe he's right.
Right.
A lot of people go through that.
Very much so.
Yes.
So, I mean, coming here in 2014, it at least gave my mom, myself, and my kids 5 years
Yeah.
together,
Good.
where they got to know, where my kids got to know my mom.
Yeah.
It was very, my daughter was not very like an overly affectionate person at that point in time. So she like kind of, when my mom would want to give her a hug, she wouldn't, she kind of stepped back. So my mom got to where she would ask, "Can I have a hug?" And she'd be okay if Sam wouldn't hug her. But, just one day out of the blue, I remember we were visiting and just Sam just up and gave my mom a hug. And I mean, my mom was like ready to cry because it was just the most precious thing for her.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's going to bring tears to my eyes.
Yeah. Me too.
Tissue right there.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. They got 5 years with her, and you've repaired that relationship, and it's important.
But it hurt so much because I let my ex-husband keep me apart from her all that time.
But you were doing the very best you could with the information you had, with the relationship you were in. I mean, you didn't choose to be in that situation.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I mean, it was just one of those things. I think that's probably what did the worst part of my mental health and sent me into that depressive spiral, is because I knew that it was ultimately I let it happen, so I didn't have all that time with my mom that I should have had.
I know.
So that's kind of what put me into that black hole.
Yeah, but you're out now.
No, I am out.
You're doing well. The kids are doing well.
Yep.
Have they been through counseling and gotten some help through it all?
They have. I let them make their decision and my son recently actually went and sought out stuff himself. He realized that he was having some hard issues dealing with things, and he went and sought it out himself. He just said, "Hey, look, Mom, I'm not doing great, and I'm going to do this." And I'm like, "Okay, well, if there's anything I can do to help." The one thing I would say about myself and my kids is I've always made it so that they could come talk to me about anything. And it's really hard to be that single mom that get them through everything. And when you have a son, they don't always want to talk to their mom about the stuff that they should be talking to their dad
about. Understandably. Yep, I know.
So, I mean, but they're good. I mean, we openly discuss like how things were with their dad. And I think because I'm more open about it with them, they know more like what they want out of their partner. And, my son knows not the way not to treat a woman.
Right. Right. And that open communication it's healthy.
It is. So
that's great. And you have a great relationship with them, and it's amazing. And you're showing them what it looks like to come back, right? You're coming back.
Right.
You're on this health journey. You're doing well. You're keeping up your eating habits and everything that your life coach taught you. Do you have a goal in mind? Like, are you going after something?
I mean, I'm down about 105 pounds from my heaviest weight. I would like to go down at least another 100. But I know it's a lot. It's a very slow process because I also have to figure out how to shed, because I have so many with my health issues. I have the inflammation that keeps the water weight on, and it's something I'm always going to battle. And I can't do a lot of traditional exercise, like going to the gym. I can do certain things, but like I can't just go spend hours on a treadmill or anything. My body just won't take that. But that's where our products come in.
I know, and I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait to talk about that.
So,
have you considered a GLP-1, one of those?
Well, since I am a type 2 diabetic, I'm already on Mounjaro.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
When you said you were type 2 diabetic.
And actually, because of what I've done with my life coach, I've actually been able to step down my Mounjaro from a 10 to a 7.5, and my A1C is down it was down to a 5.1.
Okay.
So everything is moving in the right direction.
That's all we're looking for.
And and it all has to do with the weight loss that I had, but also the change in the eating habits, getting the more
Huge.
protein and the things that your body needs.
Huge.
The great thing about my life coach is, unlike going to like Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig, where they just say they just eat these, they don't tell you the science behind it. She actually explained the science as to why your body needs X amount of protein to do this, and this, and why your body needs this to be able to, convert your fat to muscle and to do these things. Understanding that part was eye-opening. And that's just, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, if I know that if I need 150 grams of protein, then that's what I'm going to try to eat. And I know that if I eat this one candy bar, it's going to undo the ketosis that I was in and all these little things. Yeah, there's times where I still make the judgment call and eat that candy bar.
Well, it's the
We're human.
It's 80-20 rule. It's the 80-20 rule. And I always tell my clients, and when it comes to me, that wants consultation on eating, it's a mindset shift. And I tell them to think about fueling their muscles, fueling their body, and what fuels your body and your muscles and the good cells and that is nice, clean protein. And ideally, you want whatever your ideal weight is, that amount of grams of protein. And it takes you have to be intentional.
Right.
And intentional with your grocery shopping and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you're going to have snacks, what those look like.
Right.
And then vegetables. I always tell my clients, you can eat as many vegetables as you want. Preferably breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, throw spinach or smoothie.
Right.
And the other stuff is, and good fats, of course, and starch is, you can have some of that. It's fine too. But, limiting your sugar and alcohol is huge.
Right.
It's huge.
Very much so.
And it sounds so simple coming out of my mouth, but to actually put that into practice.
It's the hardest thing ever.
Absolutely.
And like my son is a very, very big, and I've always told him, he's always, been down on himself. And I told him, and I looked at him one day and I said, it's never going to happen for you until you're actually ready to make the change.
No one can do it for you.
And until you actually are saying, I'm ready to make those changes, you're going to, quote unquote, diet and slip right back into your old habits. Because this isn't a diet anymore. This is a change in your lifestyle moving forward.
Yes, absolutely.
So when he decided when he decided he was ready, then we decided that we would do it together. We'd make sure we were focusing on healthier meal options and trying, not eating out and door dashing. I mean, yeah, occasionally we will, but we'll get something like grilled nuggets from Chick-fil-A, whatever.
Right.
Those things. Because you can still make some healthy choices out there. But it's just the idea of being able to share the information that I learned with my kids. My daughter, on the other hand, because she's bipolar and has severe anxiety and depression. A lot of that stems from stuff that happened with her dad and everything that we went through. But she was rapidly approaching 500 pounds, trying to do everything she could. But she was battling her medications and everything. So she was approved to do weight loss surgery.
Okay.
She had what was called a duodenal switch. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not.
So with her surgery, they went in and they took her stomach, cut it in half, and then put a permanent sleeve on it. And they removed half of her stomach, sleeved it so it would not expand. Then they took her stomach and disconnected it from the large intestine and routed it directly to the small intestine. So she doesn't have anything that moves through her large intestine. That was where most of your fat absorption and everything bad happens.
Wow.
And then everything goes from there to her small intestine for nutrient absorption and then out of her body. So she's lost well over 250 pounds now since it. And I mean, it's been amazing for her life and has helped her mental health so much because of that. But she was not going to be able to do it any other way.
Yeah.
My son and I, we both are on the same thing of like, we're not to that point we can do this.
Yeah.
But we have to learn how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is, if you didn't study it, you don't know it.
Right.
I mean, they don't teach it just, I don't
Exactly.
know what you studied in school, but wasn't dietetics or.
No, I mean, I finally got my associate's degree in 2020 in
Mm-hmm.
business management
There
with
you
a
go.
marketing emphasis, and
There you go.
I got through college before my son did, so.
There you go. Beat him. Now, my question to you is, I had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and she has an amazing story of weight loss and struggles and illnesses. Um, but she did a lot. Like, have you gotten your hormones checked? Have you done all that blood work to see
I
hormone wise?
actually have not
Okay.
done a lot of the hormones now. With my rheumatologist, I go through my standard, ANA panel, CBC panel, the
Mm-hmm.
thyroid panels, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that because of my autoimmune disorders.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually have not done anything with my hormones.
I think you should,
Yeah.
especially if you think if you're in perimenopause,
Mm-hmm.
because some of that could have a huge effect as well. I know a great place in Webster Groves. Is
Mm-hmm.
that far from you?
No.
Called The Method.
Okay.
They do amazing work there. It's a spa and wellness center. Um, but I mean, all women, all of us in our 40s and 50s and 60s should make sure that we do get blood tests done to
Right.
figure out where things are, because our
Mm-hmm.
hormones are changing
Mm-hmm.
and cortisol levels are up
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. And so just to be aware is half the battle.
Right.
And then making small changes if you need something can make a huge difference in the way that you feel. And yeah, so I suggest that to anybody, in our age range.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about the fun stuff.
Sure.
Let's talk about Spas More, 2 locations.
Mm-hmm.
You guys sell. Tell us what do you sell? What are their biggest?
So we are a Master Spas dealer. Master Spas is located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So
Mhm.
our products are American made. We sell hot tubs, swim spas, cold plunge tubs, and saunas. We are the official brand of Michael Phelps. So we have the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spa, the Michael Phelps Legend Series hot tubs, the Sweaty Goats, which is the infrared saunas, and then the Chili Goats, which are the cold plunges.
Love it.
Our biggest seller is our hot tubs, obviously, but some of the most popular things anymore is our swim spas.
Okay.
When they hit the market. Master Spa is a higher end brand and is known for its luxury and known for its construction. But the one thing that people didn't realize is that it is not just a luxury item. It is a full on health and wellness item.
Yeah, and that's what I want to focus on. What are the health benefits, and have you used them?
Sure. We can start with just so basically we can look at our hot tubs.
Mm-hmm.
All of our hot tubs have a neck and shoulder seat built into them in our lines. And then those neck and shoulder seats are designed to help, relieve the stress across the back of the neck and into the shoulders. But in that particular seat, we have rare earth magnets embedded into it, which is biomagnet therapy. Very similar to the type of magnets that are used in MRI imaging. And also, and it's the same basis of the copper technology when people will put the copper bracelets on or the knee braces.
Mm-hmm.
What it's doing is stimulating your red blood cells to bring them to the surface to help lessen your inflammation. Well, we have that technology built into that particular seat. So those magnets are in your back. And they're helping draw red blood cells to the surface to help reduce pain and inflammation in the back area and everything like that. Our Twilight Series hot tubs were designed with people who have lupus, arthritis, things like that in mind. They have the bigger therapy jets. They're designed to hit all different sorts of muscle groups and trigger points, but the bigger pattern jets makes it a therapeutic massage. For myself with having fibromyalgia, I also have allodynia, which means I can't take a lot of pressure on my skin. A lot of times there's days where my clothes just bother me to have them on. So smaller hot tubs that have smaller pinpoint jets, those are actually going to cause more pain and hurt more for somebody who has arthritis, fibromyalgia, because it's drilling into a muscle versus actually massaging a muscle.
Makes sense.
So we have the entire line designed just for people with those kind of ailments, and that also gives you a big Master Blaster foot jets that help with neuropathy, that help with shin splints. It helps with problems with your Achilles tendons and everything because of the massage therapy that it does on your feet. We move into the swim spas. They're ultimate for fitness. You're swimming against a current. You can walk against the current. You have rowing arms that you would be able to do resistance rowing. We have one of our very first swim spa customers was a elderly gentleman who had about 9 different medications and had heart attacks and things to that nature. He started working out in his swim spa, and after a year, he was down to 2 medications and was in the best shape that he had ever been in.
Amazing.
And it's because you have all of those type of cardio benefits, but you're also reducing the amount of weight and stress on your body. Like for
Right.
myself, I mentioned I can't go work on a treadmill for hours because the actual physical pressure of my entire body on my joints hurts too much. But when you go into the swim spa, you actually only have 2 pounds of pressure on your joints versus your entire body weight. So you can walk, you can run, you can Zumba, you can swim, you can row. You can just, we have exercise weights that you can do resistance weight training.
Awesome.
All in the water. And and it takes so much strain off of you because of it, but you can still get a full cardio workout doing that.
I love this.
And then we move into like our cold plunges, our infrared saunas. Those are all newer products, but we were actually brought those items for development by Michael because, like, with his words, was he was tired of going to Costco and buying ice 2 or 3 times a day so he could sit in an ice bath. A lot of things that people don't realize about Michael Phelps is that during his time as an Olympian, he suffers from ADHD, but he also went through a lot of mental health issues, depression. I mean, we all know the things about him with the picture of him with the bong. We know about him getting like a DUI, going to rehab, but he reached some of those really bad lows and had those mental health struggles just like everybody else does. Part of his process with his healing was being able to cold plunge and saunas and things outside of the pool because sometimes the pool was his stressor versus everything else. So when you're going into a cold plunge, it stimulates your vagus nerve. It helps limit your flight or fight response, and then it also increases your endorphins. It lowers your cortisol levels. It helps reduce inflammation. It actually helps your brown fat convert to white fat so you can burn energy. Kind of funny that being in 40-degree water can do all of that, but it does. And then, like with our infrared saunas, most people know about the steam saunas. Infrared have far better health benefits because infrared's actually going to bring toxins out of your body, impurities to the surface for you to sweat out, where a steam sauna only just gives you a topical steam. It might feel refreshing, but if you have any kind of underlying lung issues, COPD, asthma, anything like that, that's going to be harder for you because it's going to put dampness in your lungs and it's going to can cause infection to things of those natures.
Right.
In an infrared sauna, especially one tied with chromotherapy lighting that can enhance your moods, it allows you to your entire body to relax, but it allows you to draw the toxins and impurities out of your system with that. It's becoming very popular for firefighters to have infrared saunas in their firehouses to help get rid of stuff that they may have inhaled during a battle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have something for a little bit of everybody.
Yeah. And the thing, a lot of people look at those things as luxury items and oh, I can't afford that. But here's the thing. If you're suffering from something currently, if you can get something like that to enhance your health, you're investing in your health long term. It can prevent medical bills and ailments later in life. It really is an investment in your health, and it's that mind shift. Thinking about that, what do you spend your time, energy, and money on, right? Because where energy flows is, that's, it's just the truth. So, we need to be thinking about long term, quality of life, not just living long, till we're 100, but actually being healthy.
Right.
Um, can you share a little bit about your experience of getting in the cold plunge, like, and using those products and how it's helped you?
So the first time that we had the cold plunge out at one of our shows, I was actually like day 32 of like 36 days straight that I was working. Because we
Which
had
is not good for your health.
no, it's not. So I had swollen. My feet were double their size. My knees were swollen. I could barely walk. My hips, it was like Saturday morning, and then, like, we were gonna be extremely busy. I knew it was just gonna be one of those days because we were in St. Charles. We're always busy in St. Charles, and I said to our sales team, I'm like, I'm gonna get the cold plunge, and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like it was 40 degrees, and they're like, well, how long are you going to stay in? I said, I'm going to stay in for 5 minutes. They're like, oh, no, you're not. And I'm like, you want to bet?
Watch me.
So I got in. I almost had an asthma attack. I have a video to prove it all because it's like it takes your breath away
Yep.
the minute you sit in because you're getting into 40-degree water. And I recommend do not start at 40 degrees and do not start at 5 minutes. I am just weird. So I will put that out there. Michael Phelps did not even start at 40-degree water. So there's that disclaimer.
What's a good starting point?
About 62.
Okay.
And then, about a minute or so. And then you slowly work your way down to that 40 degrees. Don't be an idiot like I am and just jump in but that's just me.
And do you recommend? So I've done cold plunging quite a bit. I have one at home. It was to help my anxiety, and I learned from some friends around here in St. Louis to do box breathing while you're in there. So you're just literally focusing on your breath.
Yes.
In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. Because you kind of just get in the zone.
Exactly. Yeah, breathing is imperative because that's when you get that breathing focus, that's where because the minute you hit that cold water, your fight or flight response is going to kick in high gear and you're going to be like, nope, I'm done. I'm getting out of this, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever. But the more you start focusing on your breathing, your body settles. And as your body settles and relaxes, then that allows the cold to do what it needs to do. And that's where your endorphins start kicking up and everything. I did the 5 minutes. I got out. All of the swelling was gone in my feet. All the swelling was gone in my knees. I could freely move. I had full range of motion in my head for about 2 months at that point in time. It was gone for about 48 hours. I could actually see the tendons on the top of my feet. Anytime I moved my toes, you could see the tendons on the top of my feet move. So I made it through that weekend of working, in very little pain. I mean, I wasn't taking my pain medicine or having to use my muscle relaxers when I got home that night, and I actually slept for a change. So I don't do it as often as I'd like to. I did go at our dealer meeting one year and did it for 7.5 minutes in 42-degree water, and they had to tell me to get out, and I'm like, no, seriously, I was on a plane. I hurt really bad. Can I please just stay in here longer? I'm really
yeah, and I need this.
So, but it's all right.
So, do you have one at home?
I don't, because like I said, I'm renting my house right now, so I really don't have anything. But, since I know the owner pretty good, I can use the ones at the showroom.
Yeah, I guess.
And I have.
Of course. And then do you do sauna?
Yes. So I will go in the sauna. Again, it's all about the length of time that you're there. Some of the tricks to using an infrared sauna is to let it heat up to about 101, 102 degrees and get in, and then let your body go up to the 130, 140 degrees, wherever you want it to be. And let your body progressively warm up, because as your body's progressively warming up with the sauna, then that's actually, you're not going to sweat right away, which that's expected, but it's drawing everything to the surface. It's allowing that infrared heat to penetrate into your subcutaneous layers. The chromotherapy lighting we have allows you to change, red helps with energy, purple helps with calm, blue will help with like your focus.
Mm-hmm.
You can have those in there to change to help whatever might be your issue with your mindset for that day. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you've had a high anxiety day and you really need to calm. That's where you can put on the purple light. One nice little feature with ours is we have a little dish in there where you can drop some essential oil and allow that
Mm.
essential oil to, mix in with the heat
That sounds
so you can have
amazing.
some aromatherapy.
Yeah.
But it will go up to 160 degrees. And you want to spend about 20, 30 minutes or so when you're at whatever you want to set that max temperature out to let yourself get a good sweat going. Um, and then, make sure you hydrate when you're done so that
Mm-hmm.
you don't end up with muscle cramps and things
Mm-hmm.
to that nature.
Of course. How often do you just suggest doing that?
I mean, it is something where if you're running contrast therapy 2 to 3 times a week where you're doing cold plunge and the sauna, there is a lot of times where people will use just the infrared sauna every day, like at nighttime before bed,
Mm.
just to be able to help shed whatever the stresses of that day is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
It is.
I
So,
I got one last year actually.
did you?
Yeah. I was again, last year was rough. I was doing anything
Right.
and everything to help
Oh, yeah.
um, my mental health and stay
Mm-hmm.
physically, in a decent place.
Right.
So I haven't used it in a while. I need to. But again, it's an investment in your health and it's um, it's not inexpensive,
No.
but if you want to live a long and healthy life.
Comparatively, when you're looking at costs, even for like a hot tub, a swim spa, look at what you might be spending on your gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
And are you actually using your gym membership? Because, like myself, I have a gym membership,
Mm-hmm.
but the last time I was in the gym was in October,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still paying that gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be so much more beneficial to me to have that item in my garage, in my backyard, whatever the case may be, and knowing that I have to be that water exercise is my key. That's where it's like, okay, do I have a gym membership so I can use their pool?
Mm-hmm.
But do I really want to be in a pool with all these other people?
I'll just
Or
be in my
what do I
house.
want to do?
Totally.
It's an investment in your health, especially if it means that you can get off your maintenance medications or you can, lower your blood pressure. You can help lose the weight. George is always my favorite because he always comes in and says, hey, I'm doing this. I'm down X amount of weight this time.
Is this George is the one that
George
was
is
on
the
8
one.
different
Yes.
medications?
And yep.
He should be your spokesperson.
Oh, yeah. We also have one of our customers who competed in a local triathlon and placed like second place in his age group, and he's like into like this 75 to whatever bracket, and he
Wow.
trained in his swim spa
Awesome.
and stuff. And it's little things like that because that's what those are designed to do. It's not just it's great family fun. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
it's great, but it's also a great way to reconnect with your husband or wife at the end of the day when the
So
kids go to
true.
bed. It's a good way to refocus yourself or to get yourself ready for the day to begin.
Mm-hmm.
Starting a day off with a cold plunge just to be able to reset that mentality and get your mind,
Mm-hmm.
but also get your mind and your body running on all cylinders. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot better than a cup of coffee.
And it gives you energy,
It does.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. Um, you're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that type of thing, and I really thank you for sponsoring the show and
It's our pleasure.
our collaboration. I think hopefully we can make a difference in in people's lives.
Yeah.
Is there anything, if you had one thing to share with the audience before we wrap this up, one piece of advice or one thing you want them to remember, what would it be?
I think that what I have learned that through everything that I have been through and done, that you have to make time for yourself because if you lose yourself, then you're not good to anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not selfish to do that either.
Right, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about where are the stores?
So our St. Louis location is at 12957 Gravois Road.
Okay.
It's actually just right off of Old Gravois and Ronning,
Mhm.
down from Faith Church. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Right now, our showroom's a little empty because we're in the middle of changing over 2025 to 2026, but come see us anyway. And we always have wet models available. So if you want to come check out a swim spa, you've never seen one and want to see what it's like to swim in one, we have those available. We have hot tubs for you to jump in and try. We have a cold plunge if you want to try it, a sauna. We definitely encourage you to come do those things before you make that purchase.
Mhm.
Our other store is located in Overland Park, Kansas, 12505 Hemlock Street, off 125th and Antioch.
Okay. Okay. So go check it out. And then you guys are involved in you said you had like 31 conferences, or what are they?
So, yeah, this year we have 30. It will be, once we finalize last three, we'll have 34 shows this year. We participate in several of the local home shows, but then the rest of them are just our expo sales. So, like, we will be down at the Downtown Home Show, March 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Mhm.
We'll be at the St. Charles Home Show in April, but we also, like this coming weekend, we have a spa sale in Rolla.
Mhm.
We will be in St. Charles and at the Lake of the Ozarks in March, 2 weekends with just a spa sale. For those spa sales, we bring in anywhere from 20 to 30 hot tubs, anywhere from 3
Wow.
to 6 swim spas. All of them are ready for sale and immediate delivery. We have a delivery crew that works after the show to get products out to anybody. But again, it's a good time to come in and see everything that we offer, to try them out, ask any questions.
Love it. So where do you deliver?
So our territory, we cover as far east as Bloomington, Illinois, and down like to Mount Vernon, Springfield, all of St. Louis, north, the Quincy, Hannibal area, Columbia, Jeff City, Lake of the Ozarks, all the way across to Kansas City, St. Joe, into Kansas, Topeka, Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wide range. Yeah.
we
well,
are all over.
Awesome. Amazing. And expanding and
Yes.
growing.
Mhm.
And also, I might say, for all you blues fans, some of the blues alumni are obsessed with Spazamore and
Yep.
Angie, and spend a ton of time there and have their products. And
Yep.
so, if you're a blues fan, it's another reason to check them out.
It is. We're blessed to have some good partnerships with Soupy and Cam,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jamie Rivers too. And we love all the guys, Tony and Reed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been great, and we're looking forward to upcoming partnerships with like Andy Strickland and Jamal Mayers and things as well. So
Awesome.
go Blues.
Go Blues. That's right. Well, thank you again for coming
Yes,
on.
my pleasure.
Yes, it was amazing. And
Yes.
thank you to all of those of you that have watched. This will air here by the end of the week. It'll be on all the channels that you watch your podcast or listen to your podcast on. And then I'll be back next week with another exciting guest. Thank you again for listening. We're off.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the in spa. What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed,